Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about new season bags and my thoughts on them. I always get so many questions about new releases and kind of hot new it bags. So I thought I would take this video and basically spend the time talking about some of the most frequently asked about styles. So I already had a list of the bags that I thought I was going to talk about, and then I went on my Instagram stories and asked if you guys had any other requests, and a lot of the bags being requested I already had on my list, and the couple that I didn't, I did add. So these are all the kind of most asked about styles. I have a lot of Dior here because that was a really popular one, some of the new Louis Vuitton styles, some Chanel, and also some Loewe as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and let's get started. So I'm going to tackle Dior first and do a whole kind of little subcategory because I got so many questions on all the different Dior bags. So the ones I'm going to cover are the Oblique Collection, the Book Tote, and I have my list here, which is why I'm looking over here, and also the saddle bag as well. So the Oblique Collection I actually wasn't familiar with. Like, I know I've seen the bags now that I looked at it, but I wasn't familiar with the name. So a few people asked about it, so I had to Google it. And as far as I can tell from my research, it's basically the monogram canvas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm right, it's kind of that very distinctive Dior print, which they seem to do on a whole bunch of different items now, from bags to shoes. I think I saw a belt, so it does seem to be a pretty comprehensive collection. I will say this isn't my favorite. I don't really love a lot of monogram in general, if I'm being honest. It took me years and years and years before I came around to even the Louis Vuitton monogram. There were so many years where I just hated it and thought it was just the worst thing, and I don't know what happened, but overnight I kind of started just liking it a little bit more, and now I love it. So I'm not a very kind of quick adopter to monograms. The only other exception to this I can think of is really my Gucci Dionysus, and even then that's kind of enough Gucci monogram for me. That's kind of my limit. So I'm not a huge fan of a lot of monograms. I don't particularly love the Dior one. I find it it's quite loud, I guess, for a monogram, but as I said, I'm not a huge fan of monograms in general. So this one I personally wouldn't go for. I have seen it on the kind of book tote, and I'm gonna cover the book tote more in a second, and I can see how it works better on some styles than others. But in general, the Oblique Collection, if I've got it right, isn't really one for me. I don't love the blue, I don't love the general pattern, and for me it's just not something that I'm particularly drawn to. So always exceptions to every rule, but I don't love this collection. I will say I feel like I'm going to be quite negative on a lot of styles here, and I do kind of want to point out that this is just my opinion. So by all means, like, if you like a bag, don't let me sway you, because I have a very, very specific taste in bags, and a lot of my bags look the same, which is something I get told all the time, and I know that, but I feel like after buying bags for so long, I just know what I like and I know what I don't like, and I do sometimes change my mind, but as I said, I have very specific tastes. So just because I don't like something, please don't get offended, because I always get a lot of upset comments, but if you like something, that is the only thing that matters. Next up is the Dior Book Tote, and I would say this is probably my one exception to the Dior monogram, in that I do think it works pretty well, and it's also a lot of monogram because it is such a large bag. But I think it kind of works. I do think it's really cute. I wouldn't ever get a book tote myself, just because I know whenever I have a large bag, I fill it full of items. You know, the bigger the bag is, the more stuff I seem to feel the need to carry. And I just had so many bad experiences with really heavy top handles that I just hated using. So even though I know a lot of book totes are more canvas based, they are lighter, I just know I'm going to fill it with stuff and it's going to be a very uncomfortable bag to carry. So that's why I wouldn't ever consider a book tote for me. But if I was going to buy a book tote, this would probably be quite high on my list, because I do think it's adorable. You know, I like how it comes in different colors. I think you get your name on that, is that correct? But either way, I think it's really fun. I definitely see the appeal, and if I was going to pick one Dior monogram item, it would probably be the book tote. I don't see these being around in kind of 5 or 10 years time, certainly not to the extent that it's popular now, but you know, at the same time it's a monogram, so it's still fairly classic, so I like them, just not for me personally. Next up is the Dior saddlebag, and this is another one that I have kind of mixed feelings on. I do like the style, and I remember when it was first released, I was in school, so I definitely couldn't afford Dior then, but I loved it then. I thought it was so cool, and now I think it's still equally cool. You know, I think it's still a very iconic, strong looking bag. I do think that the marketing around it was very strange, like the whole kind of bombard Instagram and all on the same day, all the photos from all the influencers. I just thought it was quite strange, especially for a very, very high-end brand. That said, I do think it's a really cute style, especially in the leather. I think I saw an all leather black one, which looks so cool and so chic, and as I said, it's a really iconic style. I'm not sure in terms of longevity, just because I feel like we're kind of in uncharted territory. You know, obviously other fashion houses are re-releasing popular bag styles. Fendi is doing that with their baguette, but I can't remember another example of a bag really doing that. You know, obviously there are styles which bag brands bring back and kind of continue releasing, but in terms of a full new launch, I can't really think of another example. So I have no idea if it's going to be a new classic or if it's going to die out again. Who knows, but if you like it, then I think it's a very, very cute bag, especially in the all leather types that I mentioned. I'm not so sure about the monogram again, but yeah. Marketing I thought was a bit weird, but in terms of the bag, I still think it's pretty iconic and very, very cute. I should probably add whether I'm thinking of getting one, because I know I'm going to get that question. I have no plans to add any more Dior bags to my collection. I'm just very happy with my mini Lady Dior. If I was going to get another Dior bag, I think I'd probably go for the Diorama, just because I think it's a very beautiful style, but I don't really have any other Dior bags on my radar, and that's just because I can't buy every single bag. I wish I could, but there are other bags I like more than the Dior styles I mentioned. But yeah, if I was, Diorama, but no plans as of yet. Next up is Chanel, and this is kind of the one that I'm most excited to talk about, the Chanel 19 bag, which I get asked about so much. I know it's such a popular style at the moment, and I think this is so cute. I was debating whether to get the 19 bag or my Chanel Grey Jumbo. Obviously I got the Grey Jumbo, and what swayed me was kind of my general rule on Chanel seasonal bags, which is I tend not to get them, just because I find that their seasonal styles, I'm not talking about seasonal colours here, it's really seasonal styles, which are new releases, kind of never before seen bags from Chanel, tend to be priced very, very highly, as are all Chanel items. But even though they're priced really highly, they don't hold their value in the same way that Chanel flaps do. And you know, I'm fine to indulge in the odd trendy bag, and I'm happy to experiment with new styles to a degree, but for me, purchases like that really belong in the under £1,500 category for my kind of personal spending comfort. When it gets to 2,000, 2,500 and above, I have to be very, very sure, just for my own kind of sanity and comfort, that the bag is going to last me many, many years. It's going to be pretty classic. It's not going to date really quickly. And Chanel don't typically have the best track record in terms of their seasonal bags. Just like other houses, you know, it's not particularly Chanel that's bad for this, but when I'm spending £4,000 on a bag, I want to be using that for years and years and years, and for it to look very timeless and never look dated at all. And I don't always think that's the case with some of their seasonal styles. The Chanel Boy is pretty much the only example I can think of that has really had, you know, amazing longevity and good resale value. But Chanel release styles all the time. They're always very expensive, and then they fade after a couple of years. So I love it, but that was a thing that really held me back. I think it's so cute, and if I was a billionaire, I would be getting these in all the different colors. I think it's so fresh and fun, and just a really nice update to the Chanel classic flap. But as I said, it's just the price factor and the fact that I know that seasonal bags aren't typically as classic as their classic flap. So love it, but I don't think I'm going to be getting them for that reason. Now onto Louis Vuitton, and I have two styles here that I'm talking about. So I was asked about the multi-pochette and also the on-the-go tote. So multi-pochette first. I hated this bag when it first came out. I thought it was really ugly, and now it's just totally grown on me, and now I really like it. So I don't know what changed, maybe it just wore me down because I've seen so many pictures of this and I've seen so many people rave about it. It is obviously, I don't say trendy because it just implies it's going to be like out next season. I don't think that's true, you know. Louis Vuitton canvas is a very classic thing, but it's definitely a kind of it bag at the moment. I know it's sold out pretty much everywhere. I think it's very cute. It has that kind of more edgy style, I guess, but with the very, very classic monogram. I like the fact that you can separate them and use the individual items separately. So I think it's decent value for money. I think it's a really cool original design. Obviously not everyone's cup of tea. I know not everyone likes kind of dangly bits and things hanging off, but I think it's really cool looking. So I don't think I'm gonna get one just because I can't be bothered to go on wait lists and things like that. If they were readily available, I'd probably go and try one on and see how much I loved it in person. I don't love it enough to try and track one down, I don't think, but if you do, I completely see why. Like, I do think it's really, really cute. I know Louis Vuitton always kind of nail it every couple of years with a really popular it bag. I think, what's it, the Palm Springs like mini backpack was really popular. So yeah, no plans on getting it, but I do see appeal. I think it's very, very cute. Next up is the Louis Vuitton On The Go tote, and this I know is a super popular one at the moment. I hear so many people talking about it and I do see the appeal. I do think it's really nice, and I know it's an updated style from last year. They kind of did them in the seasonal monogram, but in the all leather, I think it looks very chic and streamlined, really, really nice. The only thing I'd say is that I'm not totally sure on the size of the monogram. I think that's maybe what puts me off a little bit. I do like the overall look, and I like the fact that you obviously have the shoulder strap as well, which kind of eliminates the really heavy book tote problem, but I know, I just feel like maybe the monogram is a little bit too big. So for me personally, I think I'd rather have it a little bit smaller, but again, I do like the fact that it is a bit more subtle with the kind of all one color leather. So I do like it. I do want to see it in person because I have heard some people say that it's just stunning in real life. If you've seen it in person or if you own it, please share your thoughts down below. I do have a few things on my wish list at the moment from Louis Vuitton, so I was planning on going to one of their stores to check them out. So if they have the On The Go tote, then I will kind of take pictures and report back, but I like it just with that one caveat. So definitely one that I want to totally reserve judgment for, but I do think it's a really, really nice style. Bottega Veneta is next, and they are absolutely having a moment. I know they got really popular towards the end of last year and they just seem to be carrying through that momentum. I was just going to talk about the pouch, but I got a few requests for other styles. They do kind of have a very strong aesthetic though, so I'm not going to kind of pinpoint exact bags, but from what I've heard, the styles are beautiful. The leather is supposed to be amazing quality. I don't own anything from Bottega Veneta, so I can't, you know, talk with any kind of authority or experience, but I think the bags do look beautiful. I think they probably suit certain aesthetics better than others. I know I did actually buy the pouch from Bottega Veneta and I quickly returned it because even though I thought it was beautiful and the leather looked really nice, it just was going to be very clear that it wasn't really suited to my personal style. I thought that even though I did like it, I didn't think I'd get a lot of use out of it. You know, it's not the most practical of bags, and I think it kind of suits a slightly more pared back style than what I have. I have seen a few different styles on Rosie Huntington-Whiteley and they all look absolutely amazing on her, as does pretty much everything, but she does wear the brand really, really well. I saw one tote bag in particular which I thought was beautiful, which is the Arco tote. Just kind of very minimal, still very distinctly Bottega Veneta, but in an updated way. So I think that they're doing the brand refresh in a really, really great way. Nothing on my wish list after my kind of unsuccessful pouch purchase, but I do think that the new styles are beautiful and it's definitely a brand that I'm really excited about. And finally, for my last bag, I wanted to talk about the Loewe puzzle bag. And this is a bag that's been popular now for a little while, but I still feel like it is really, really popular. I know this bag has so many die-hard fans. I would say that even though I can objectively admire it, this really isn't one for me. I just don't think it suits my style or my personal taste, so it's not a bag that I would consider going for, but I have seen so many other people wear it and wear it really, really well. And I'm kind of thinking of like a bit like Under the Stories, that kind of aesthetic. Like I've seen girls who I assume shop from those kind of stores that do look fantastic with it. I think it really suits them, and I think if you have a particular style, the bag just looks amazing because it is so minimal and it's just very kind of different and distinctive looking. So I do like the bag on other people. I don't think I would like it on me. I've heard really good things about the leather quality as well. I've heard pretty much no quality issues about Loewe, so it all seems good, but yeah, just not my personal cup of tea because I don't really think it would suit how I dress. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on the bags I mentioned down below in the description section. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you love, hate them? Just let me know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, please do give us a thumbs up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.